You can check another accomplishment off the Chris Nilsson bucket list. Nilsson today clearing 19 feet 2 1/4 inches to capture the Drake Relays title in Des Moines this afternoon. You come for the vault, but you stay for his reaction to it. He is fired up, and that's because not only does he add his name to the prestigious list of champions in the 110-year-old event, Nilsson beat out a field that included some of the top professional vaulters, including reigning United States track and field national champion Sam Hendricks.
I don't think it's hit me yet. I think I'll wake up tomorrow and realize that I won or something, because I don't really think I definitely was coming in here thinking I was going to win, because you got Sam Hendricks, world champion, American record holder, all this other stuff, and then Andrew Irwin's out here jumping 580 every single time out, and then you got all these other good guys jumping. So I think it's just kind of like an honor to come out here and then do my best, and then being able to win just like cherry on top.
Of course, the Howard Wood relay is coming up this next week. Well, Trey Pipkins wasn't a highly coveted recruit when he came to Sioux Falls 5 years ago, making it ironic that he would be a prized commodity in this year's NFL draft when the Los Angeles Chargers had their chance to pick him last night in the 3rd round.
Oh, he sucked
With
it
the
in.
91st pick in the 2019 NFL draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Trey Pipkins, tackle, Sioux Falls.
It was quite a night for the USF alum who actually learned of his pick while driving to dinner with family in Portland. He had to pull over on the side of the highway to make the call that made his dreams come true. Pipkins worked his way into one of the top players in all of Division II when he came to USF in 2014, eventually becoming an All-American. Now the second USF Cougar ever to be drafted, and first since 1984, is eager to prove he belongs in the NFL in the bright lights of L.A.
It's unbelievable, honestly. I haven't really it's hard to put into words just because I'm so appreciative to Tom Telesco and the Spanos family and Coach Lynn that they took that chance with me and gave me this opportunity. Just very appreciative and thankful for the opportunity to play with such a high organization.
More good draft news today for another local product. Former SDSU cornerback Jordan Brown was taken in the 7th round by the Cincinnati Bengals today with the 223rd overall pick in the draft. Brown had 8 career interceptions and 148 tackles in 51 games as a Jackrabbit. Several other locals will try and catch on as undrafted free agents, most notably former Jackrabbit and Roosevelt alum Taryn Christian, the Sioux Falls native, tweeting that he signed as an undrafted rookie free agent with the Seattle Seahawks. He set Missouri Valley and SDSU career records with more than 1,100 yards passing and 104 touchdowns and should fit well in a Seahawk offense very similar to what he ran at State. And his former offensive lineman, Tiano Papungatoa, my favorite name on the team, has gotten a minicamp invite with the Minnesota Vikings. A couple other odds and ends for some local ties. Former Coyote and Rock Valley native Andrew Van Ginkel, who ended up transferring to Wisconsin, was taken in the 5th round by Miami. And Pipkins will be joined by former NDSU quarterback Easton Stick, who also went in the 5th round. As for the Vikings, they had 9 picks today and continued to loan up on offensive linemen, taking Oklahoma's Drew Samia in the 4th round, as well as Olisameki Udo, and if I didn't pronounce his name right, I apologize, of Elon in the 6th round. And the 7th round, they take a pair of receivers, including one from the greatest school in the universe, Colorado State University. Just ask me, it is the greatest school in the universe. Fittingly, as Pipkins was introduced in L.A., the Cougars began moving on from him with their spring football game. They got a lot of people back next year, aside from him. And one of them is the quarterback, Caden Walters. In the first quarter, he scrambles for a big gain. They said he was touched down just inside the 5-yard line. No hitting, obviously, of the quarterback. John Anderson's defense, though, would stiffen up, as on 4th and goal, they stuff Gabe Watson. Maybe this is where they kind of miss Pipkins. I don't know, but they have plenty of time to figure that out. And another guy who could be moving up the depth chart when they come back in the fall, Landon Freeman, the former Tri-Valley standout, bounces outside and runs for a touchdown. Who cares about the score? Cougars won, but we do have some sound on our website with John Anderson. Be sure to check that out. Though the Sioux Falls Storm are only at the halfway mark of their season, tonight's game with Arizona could well decide who hosts the United Bowl Championship in July. After suffering their only loss to the Rattlers last month in Phoenix, the Storm need a win tonight, or else they could see Arizona hold home field advantage via the tiebreaker. First quarter trailing 7-0 when Lorenzo Brown hits Brandon Shepard in stride for a 34-yard score. It is 7-all. Arizona answers right back. Jeff Zimba, who might actually lose his starting quarterback job with Brandon Powell on the team, the former MVP, hits Jamal Miles, who goes over the boards but hangs on, and it's a 20-7 Arizona lead. Final seconds of a wild first quarter. Brown 30 yards to Damian Ford. Yeah, you get some dap for that, as it's 20-14 after a quarter. In the second, the Storm now trailing by 16. Brown with another bomb, 20 yards to Kent Shelby, and they trailed 30-21, but the defense just couldn't stop Arizona at all tonight. Zimba in the final seconds of the half to Jared Harrington, and it was all Arizona, really not as close as the score indicates. 63-50 Zimba with 6 touchdown passes. Brown didn't have a bad night, but the Storm just made too many mistakes. They are at Quad Cities next Saturday. Playoff hockey in the Hub City, virtual must-win for the Wings in Game 2 of their series with Minot after dropping the opener in OT last night. Minute in, this is how you start things. Nick Sickley gets his own rebound and puts the biscuit in the basket. It is 1-0. About 7 minutes later, great pass from Colton Hewer to Jonathan Bendorf. Wicked wrist on. It's 2-0. After 1 in the second period, they would finish the scoring, but this is all they needed as John Slottick gets the loose puck and ends up chipping away and putting it in as the Wings go on to get the victory by a final of 3-1. That series tied at 1, Game 3 Friday night in Minot. And finally, it took a year longer than expected after a storm canceled last year's festivities, but the South Dakota Sports Hall of Fame is finally getting to induct a couple of their all-time greats. Mount Vernon native Chad Greenway and Rapid City native Mark Ellis among the 16 inducted into the Hall of Fame at the Convention Center this evening. Greenway spending 11 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings, while Ellis spent 13 years in Major League Baseball. Both are proud to be from South Dakota, and it doesn't seem like it was that long ago they were playing as preps.
It seems like a long time ago. It does and it doesn't. You know, I still, some of my fondest memories playing baseball are wearing that uniform, wearing that hard hat, and, you know, touring around South Dakota and seeing all these towns around here and playing some baseball, and playing for Coach Plouffe is something I'll never forget.
More so, obviously, thinking back to all, you know, running track for Mount Vernon and obviously playing basketball for Mount Vernon and playing baseball and just kind of thinking about the whole concept of just my sporting world growing up as a kid in South Dakota and playing all 4 sports and what it meant.
And the Twins beat Baltimore 9-2. We're back in 1 moment.